Hello, my name is Heather Mackey, and I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. And today we are talking about finding your frequency through feasting on silence. Mmm. I have just completed a 3-day vow of silence. I also began a fast at that time. And so I chose not only to not speak, but to do a cleanse. I did the Master Cleanse, if you've heard of that, which is the lemonade cayenne maple syrup cleanse, which I've found to be very effective throughout my life. Whenever I want to give my body the oil change that my car gets and give my organs a break and just kind of cleanse everything out. So I did a fast on that. I did not watch any TV. I did not take in any Facebook. I actually spent most of the 3 days with my phone turned off, which is a luxury I understand that I am afforded because I don't have children or other things that some aren't afforded that luxury. So I to the best of my ability, just tried not to take in technology. I did listen to music if I was doing yoga or doing something productive like painting. And so today I was going to talk about some of the realizations I had and how I came into greater alignment with my own frequency in this process. So, first thing I want to say is I did notice in the 3 days of silence, there were moments where I was like, man, I really just want to watch a movie. Can't I just watch like a cartoon or something? Come on, let me watch something. I would have moments where I would actually have hunger for television. And instead, I was reading the book Earth, the Pleiadian Keys to the Living Library, which I hope to talk about in a future video, just to keep the length short. But even it says, like, you should unplug your TV when you're not watching it because you're definitely emitting frequencies you don't want in your house. And I thought, how strange that I don't even have Netflix or Hulu or cable. I just watch DVDs from the library. And I'm still craving TV. I still don't think that what I want to do with my time is watch TV, which is fine to do. However, it has consumed an overwhelming amount of attention here in the States, and so many things that so many people want, and so many desires that we have to read a book, to paint a painting, to make songs, to write a book. Those desires go unfulfilled as we fill our vessel instead with television. So it was a real gift to turn it off and to get Facebook off and to just have nothing of that sort to do. Because what happens is initially you might get a little bored. You're like, this is boring. I just want to check the thing. And then you go, I don't want to be bored. And you actually start, it actually increases motivation and gives you an impetus to go, no, that's not. And, at first I did some like cleaning and organizing, which is something I like to do. But I was like, I also don't want to clean and organize. I always do that. So I pulled out 2 paintings. I progressed a self-portrait I've been working on for years. I have a painting that I was working on for my niece. I've been working on it for 4 years. She moved to Denton yesterday and will be dearly missed. And I finished the painting, was able to give it to her before she left. And it was perfect timing, the message of the painting. It was the star card. So it felt really good to bring that to completion. I read a lot. I read half of a book and some other books, some portions of other books, and did some tarot readings. So I found that my time was spent, as far as the technology break, it was spent doing a lot of the things I want to do. I have a ton of books. I used to read them so feverishly. When I was in school in like junior high and high school, I would run into people because I would walk down the halls reading, and I was so consumed by books, I couldn't stop reading them. And that's just, now that I'm in my 40s, it's like technology has taken into my life so much. Even with my not having internet and not having a computer, it's still, I'm like, I gotta get my next stack of DVDs from the library. Like, I have been really missing the library. it was really refreshing, and it reminded me, there was a nostalgia to that. There was something in my frequency in that of going back to reading books. Maybe that's not a thing that you do. Maybe you don't read the tarot. Maybe you're not a painter. But maybe you do have these beautiful things that you've forgotten that you used to do that you just don't do anymore because you have your programs you're watching, or you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever it is. You know, you're on your Zoom calls, whatever it is the kids are doing these days. And yeah, it was nice to find things to fill the mind that I thoroughly enjoy. I loved it. And I painted, in the past year, whenever I paint for like kind of like 20 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, let's put it away. I gotta clean or do something else or watch TV. And I kicked on some jams, brought in the wind, and just painted my little heart out, let all the sunlight in. Beautiful, beautiful. So for the vow of silence, there are 10 evil acts in the Buddhist tradition. I used to see a Tibetan Buddhist named Lama Dujam Dorji, thanks to my sister Suzanne. And he's a beautiful, brilliant man. And I had taken notes at one of his lectures, and he was talking about the 10 evil or unwholesome acts in Buddhism. And the 7th evil act or unwholesome act is frivolous words. Frivolous means something that does not have value. And that's a teaching that I didn't receive just from Buddhism. I've received it from other metaphysical teachers in my life, and I think about it a lot. My mom used to say it to me, don't talk just to talk. Are you talking just to talk? You just want to hear the sound of your own voice? You just want someone to hear you? You want someone to hear your words? Or are you speaking because you have value to add into the room? I feel school metaphysics taught me something about this too. Like, am I offering value when I'm speaking? Am I offering love? Am I offering a service? Am I contributing? Am I teaching? Am I extending to someone, hey, thank you, I learned this from you? So I had a great awareness of all of the frivolous words I used. It's funny, almost every morning I would hop out of bed to let the cats in or out, and that was the time I would talk, because my brain wasn't engaged like, hey, you're in a vow of silence. So I'd be like, okay, kitty. And then as I started to gain awareness, I would be like, oh, wait. Another time would be just singing along to songs. It's a Mazzy Star, PJ Harvey, or Monophonics. Certain songs that would just, oh man, I love this line. I love this. And I'd just start singing along. And then I would, I think my neighbor heard me as I was painting, singing Andrew Bird. And she came up. She's a beautiful, beautiful wizard woman. But she came up to communicate with me because I was making noise and had my door open. And she was like, Andrew Bird again, huh? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm making noise. And like, so I also make a lot of noise throughout the day. I'm a great noisemaker, and I don't consider that frivolous. It adds a lot of value to my life to let the release valve off in my own home and allow my body to do weird things and allow my voice box to do weird things when I'm not in the confines of society that says, don't make a weird sound like that in the middle of your day. So I have a lot of value in making these noises, but it was interesting too to not make any of my valuable sounds and not use my release valve. My cats even were like a little like, are you okay? Because you normally are a real noisy lady. I normally talk to them a lot. I normally tell them so much about how I know that they're so brilliant and that they're ancient souls and are wiser than I because they're not using a cognitive mind. And I know how brilliant their intuition is and what good hunters they are. So I like to sing their praises a lot. And that was absent. And I could almost see it in them. They were like, you're being weird. Okay, you're being weird. Which is fair. As far as fasting, I'm still fasting. I just have broken the vow of silence. So I said I was using the Master Cleanse, which is an interesting book. He has some philosophies I don't necessarily agree with, and some I find very intriguing and interesting. This cleanse, though, and being on this fast and continuing on it, I went and got a bunch of organic lemons and organic limes. I highly recommend getting the limes too, because it's like having a limeade break from your lemonade. And some, organic cayenne pepper and organic maple syrup. And it costs next to nothing. The organic maple syrup is the most expensive, like $20. And I just juiced a bunch of lime juice and a bunch of lemon juice and put them in separate jars in the fridge. It was cost effective. It's so cheap. You can do this cleanse for up to 40 days. I'm going to do I've added orange juice and I'm about to add vegetable broth. So I'm not going to do the Master Cleanse specifically. I'm doing that for 3 days, and I'm doing a liquid cleanse and extending it out. I'm trying to do a 10-day one. But, your body needs an oil change. If you eat meat, for example, a carnivore's intestinal tract is about 3 times its body length. An herbivore's intestinal tract is about 9 times its body length. And what that means, also the acidity in the stomach of a carnivore can be up to 20 times the acidity of an herbivore's. What that means is that in order to break down meat, you usually need a real high acid and really short processing through the intestines and turned into waste. Because without that, it can ferment in the gut, and that fermented or undigested or unprocessed meat can impact around the intestinal tract and around the colon. And I have no judgment about eating meat. It's all emptiness. Everything is made of emptiness. So everything we're doing is fundamentally neutral, and I have no judgment of anything. I do judge because I have an ego, but I constantly remind my ego, you have no purpose here other than to label things. So I just want to say, though, if that's one of the things in your diet, doing a fast and doing a cleanse, and even if it's not one of the things in your diet, other foods might have the capacity to, the lining can get impacted with foods that don't always come out. And so a cleanse is going to do that. This has a saltwater flush. You can do a laxative tea. Both are very effective. But to just give your body a break, give your organs a break, because they're not having to process the food and break it down. The stomach acids aren't having to work. This cleanse was initially designed for people with ulcers and to help with ulcers, and they found it to be extremely effective. But it's just great to give all of that a rest. And so I found it was really easy. It was easy. It took almost no time. There was a lot of front-end work with doing the juicing, but once I had that going for days, it's just like 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, so, a tenth of a teaspoon of cayenne, and water, and boom. As anytime I got hungry, I would make that, and it would immediately address the hunger pangs. And all of a sudden I had all this extra time, because the time I would spend thinking about ooh, should I go get a sandwich? I love sandwiches. Or, maybe I should go to the grocery store. I didn't need to do any of that. I didn't have to go anywhere. Everything I had and needed was here. Everything I was going to consume was here. So I had plenty of time to go on these nature walks. And on those nature walks, I was able to find more of my frequency. Nature is a great medicine to me. I would assume to anybody. But it is a great stabilizer of placing me back in my frequency. If I am depressed, if I am in a dark mindset, if I am troubled, if I am facing trials and tribulations, it just existing, nature is the one thing that always calls me back to my frequency, which is love and light. And it's like, hey, hey, remember? You're beautiful. Just calm down. You're in real stress, but the whole world is beautiful right now. So calm down. And I spent a lot of time in prayer. That was kind of my goal, was to focus on silence and prayer. And for me, prayer is filling my heart chakra with green energy, letting it extend down my arm and high-fiving the trees and sharing that love with them and seeing that green light go through the leaf all the way down into the roots and expanding out to all the other plants as I quickly just say, like, I love you, Mother Earth. I love you. Thank you for sharing your beauty with me. And that's what I do when I do nature walks. I just high five and Mother Earth left and right. Just like loving, telling the butterfly, sending energy to the butterfly, you're so beautiful. Asking the dragonfly to tell the fairies to say hello. You look lovely. Your wings are gorgeous. Seeing the family of turtles yesterday and just like, I love your gentle energy. You sweet little turtle magic. I feel very compelled to whisper today after 3 days of silence. And there were times when I thought, oh my God, I want to do this for a year. But I just want to say I was able to find so much more of my frequency and who I am because I wasn't engaging with other people's frequencies. I wasn't, it was just me and my cleanse and my books and my things. And you may have different things around you. You know, maybe you have a bass guitar around you that you haven't picked up in a while. You'll find if you're not on Facebook or Instagram or TV or, you know, and you're not speaking, you might find that you pick it up. You know, and then you might give yourself, if you're a singer, permission to sing, but you just can't speak and engage in conversation. So giving the creative aspect of self the opportunity to express, giving it the right to express, and giving it a space. And sometimes the thing we need most in order to come into alignment with what we came to offer and who we are is a bit of silence. It's a bit of silence. And for some, you have a partner or, you know, a relationship. For some, you have children. And that was silence. Sounds like a crazy request of self. And there are steps you can still take of like, I'm not going to use Facebook or Instagram for 3 days. I'm not going to do the TV for 3 days. Instead, me and the kids are going to play a board game, or we're going to make up a game. We're going to go make up a game with our imagination in the backyard. I think it's a real healing balm, and I highly recommend it. Today we offer these words. We give good, great thanks for our unique frequency and our unique vibration and our unique teachings and the things that we came to offer. And we offer ourselves today in awareness that with attention placed on them, we will offer them. We give ourselves permission to remove our attention from anything that's keeping us from sharing our gifts and our frequency with the world. So mote it be. Happy Beltane.